Hey everybody, how's it going? Superfiend here, and welcome back to Whacky World. We are going to spend some more time this episode just decorating this building a little bit. I want to fill it out with some nice details, and then if we have time towards the end of the episode, we're going to start with a temple structure over here that's going to look kind of like, one of these, a basic pyramid with some steps. And before we get into all that, let's just go ahead and look at our research. Okay, so we got this done. There is more research. I wish we could just kind of do these all at once. I wish they weren't sequential. All right, so we got the research going, and I don't know if there's been an update to Planet Coaster to affect the staff happiness. A couple episodes we had a problem where everybody became very unhappy all of a sudden. And let's see. So we're going to try increasing all their salaries. It looks to me like maybe these two might be new. So I'm guessing maybe those shops are shut down. And what do we do with this guy? Can we give him more money to make him happy? I don't think we can. Let's look at our shops. Yeah, so another one of our shops shut down. So let's just open it back up. And so we're having problems with our vendors. Not sure how to fix that, or if we can fix it at all, if it's a bug in the game, or if we were to just destroy and recreate the shops, if it would fix it. But we're not going to worry about it. Okay, so we're going to decorate this hidden temple attraction. We're going to fill in the scenery, and we're going to start by filling in the corners a little bit, and I'm going to use these over here. So we're going to take this design, and we are going to duplicate that, and we're going to bring it over here and drop it into the main building. Got to be careful because there's a bunch of little buildings over here. And now we're going to, let's see. We want to rotate this, and then it will fit nicely just right over in here. So let's go ahead and change to the world axes, and we'll line it up right here. Let's see. And then we're going to move it over and lift it up. Okay, so I think about like that, and as long as it's not poking out the sides of the building. Probably wouldn't hurt if it did, but I think for right now, I don't want it to. Okay, and now we're going to duplicate and bring it down. And I think that looks pretty cool. All right. So now that we got all of those, let's go ahead and see if we can select them all. And now we're going to duplicate this whole thing, and we'll bring it this way, and we will rotate it around like so, and move it in here. Okay, that looks good. And now we'll just go over to this corner, and it's probably not going to be tall enough, so we might have to adjust the ones on the bottom, or actually, it looks like it makes it there. And let's just fix this. Okay, I think that's cool. Looks good. And then we'll do this one. All right, so already camera got goofed up because it flew over this pillar here. So already, if we just take a look around in here, it's looking pretty neat. It looks kind of cramped, and that coaster car goes really fast through there. So I think by the time we're done with this is going to be a really neat ride. Now, the other thing we want to do is I'd like to get some more scenery around, just kind of around the top. Yeah, around the top. Now, I don't know how they would have put these things up here, but what I'm thinking is we're going to have to do it with a separate building. So let's just go over here, and we'll make a new building, and we're going to repeat the skulls. and these little recess things. We're going to repeat that and put that around the top, kind of like it's crown molding. So let's go to sandstone, and ooh, I don't know. Well, let's see. Okay, we have to use the arch to make that, and the arch is tall. So, okay, let's just start with that. And let's okay, it's going to be from this side. We need to put the arch needs to be in the front of the wall, and then what do we want, a 1 meter piece? We really only get the choice between 1 or 2. All right, so we're gonna do a 2 meter piece, and now let's go over. I think they're in here. Let's get rid of the sandstone for a moment, and we'll switch it to pirate scenery, and there should be the skulls. There we go. So let's see. We got a large and a small. Okay, so we'll just lift this guy up. And we'll set him in here like this. And do we have room to put the others? We do. Okay. Now let's go over to the fairy tale scenery. And I want to get that little animal statue thing. I don't know what it's called. And it may not be in here. It might be in here. Let's do fairy tale. There we go, the little gargoyle thingy, okay? So we'll put that there. So whoever these ancient people were, they worshipped skulls and whatever the heck that little nibbly guy is. Okay. Now, so let's go ahead and let's move this building. We're gonna move it. And we're going to rotate it around, and we'll do an advanced move. Okay, and now we're going to lift it up. And, I think we'll go to about here. And don't forget, this building is going to have a roof on it. We are going to put a roof on this. So actually, I think I could bump it all the way up to the top. But I don't know if I want it to go that high. We can always change it later, so let's just do that for now. Now the only thing we really need to do is we need to clean up the bottom here with some sort of piece or architecture. And so what we can do is, let's see. What would be a good piece to do that with? What's this over here? That is those things. Okay, so that's not going to work. I think what we can use, thinking about it, is we could just use this. We'll grab these two, and we'll duplicate them, and we'll add them to this building, right? So now we'll edit this building. Let's just take these two pieces. Let's move them down, and we'll rotate them. And we'll move them down just to about there. And then we'll move them back. Okay, and it's not poking out the back. Okay, good. And then we'll slide it over to there. And we can duplicate them. And slide these ones to there. There we go. And so that's what we're going to put along the bottom there. And we could always put a little extra something right here to dress it up, and maybe we'll do that. So now that we've got all that, let's just select everything in this building, and we'll duplicate it. And we'll duplicate it again. And now we're going to slide it over, because we want it to sit about here. And actually, we could even sink it back just a little bit. So maybe we don't actually need the back pieces there. So maybe we'll take those off later. But for right now, we're going to leave them on. And if we just grab everything in the building again and duplicate again. And we'll duplicate again. Okay, so everything over here we can get rid of. We can get rid of whatever happens to be here. So it's going to be 2 whole slots. Okay. So we can do that. We'll get rid of the gargoyle. And let's see. Yeah, I think we'll leave the rest of it just kind of like that, actually. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just take one of these and like set it down here, move it out, tilt it back a little bit. Okay, so it like fell off. And then we can take this one and just put it all the way on the ground. Okay. And I think just a little bit of a rotation this way, just so it's not sitting perfectly flat on the ground. And if we were to take this one and move it down here, now it got added to the other building, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I think that kind of looks okay. And now what we're going to do, let's see, we want to duplicate this building, duplicate, and let's go ahead and set it down here. And we'll put it on the floor. And now we're going to go ahead, we're just going to get rid of all of that, and we'll get rid of all of this. So we've got our whole pieces back, and we'll move it again. And let's see, this one, we can. Whoops. Let's try this again. All right. We want to set this one in here. And let's see, we'll scooch it out about that far and up to the top. And let's see. Okay, we're going to go ahead, we're going to accept that. Now we're going to make some adjustments over here. We're going to slide this out. We'll slide this out. And I think they'll be okay going through there. I think it'll be okay. We'll find out later. And let's see, we're not going to put anything over here of this element. We'll just leave it blank. And now we're going to take this building and we're going to duplicate it again. And get the advanced move. Bring it out to about there. Lift it up. And we'll move it over. I guess we could sink it back in a little bit further. Okay. And we'll just go ahead and duplicate that one. Bring it over. Now we got a question. Do we want it to look more correct over here, or do we want it to look more correct over here? And truthfully, I don't think anyone's going to really notice if it's not absolutely correct over here. You know, so we'll make sure that this skull is visible, and then it will be slightly incorrect here. There's not enough gap between these two arches like there are for the rest of them, but I don't think anybody's going to notice that. And then now we'll just take all of this, and there's a skull in there. Let's get rid of that. Okay, let's edit again, and let's get this piece. All right. And now we'll take the 2 of these. Oh, we can't do that, huh? We can't move 2 buildings at once with advanced move, or can we? Yeah, I think we can if we do the complicated selection, the selection tool down here. I think we could have been able to, but that's all right. Let's see. Slide this in. Slide it over there. We'll accept it. We'll duplicate it. And now, just like the other side, we're going to make sure that the skull is visible. And then they're a little bit too close together right here, but that's going to be okay. And we'll go ahead and remove all of those pieces, and then we'll remove this piece. Okay. So I think that looks pretty neat. And now to just add a little bit of randomness. Okay, we're going to go ahead, we're going to move this guy off of here. And we'll set him down there. And we'll take this guy. You know, we'll put him over there. And we'll take this guy. And we'll put them down there. So we're going to take a few of these off the walls. Right? And we'll just set this one here. So I'm just going through and picking some and just giving them new locations around the room. And then I'll go back in and I'll fine-tune their orientation. Give them a little bit of rotation, lean them up on things. Just for now, I just kind of want to get an idea of, you know, where are they going to be, right? Okay, let's get one from up here, right? Okay. So now we take this one, move it up, move it out a little bit further. Okay, we rotate it slightly this way. World axes, rotate it like one time that way, and then set it on the ground. Okay. And then it looks like it kind of fell over there. This one, since he's laying on the ground, you know, let's kind of turn it sideways. And then let's take this one and just put it over here. There you go. Looks like they're supporting each other. Now we'll take this one and I guess we'll just kind of move it so that it landed kind of up against the pillar. And then these ones here, just a random rotation is enough to, you know, make them look like they weren't neatly placed there. They fell. We'll go ahead, we'll move this one right over here, and let's see. I'm going to put it there, and then I want to spin it all the way around this way. I want it to be upside down, right? There we go. And actually, a good idea, a little bit of foreboding. We can just take another one of these. And you see the riders are going to fall down and come through here, right? So wouldn't it be neat if we had a little skull for them to look at as they went by? So let's see. Okay, so now as they fall through here, you know, they got a skull, which is the universal sign for bad news. And let's see. Okay, I don't think we moved this one around yet. Just kind of set it there. Let's put one on the steps. Let's see. Okay. And again, like a lot of the other, you know, quote-unquote random terrain placements, I'm not really being methodical with it. I'm just thinking about interesting ways where we could let them sit or rest on the existing scenery and make it look like they just kind of fell off, you know? All right, so that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. And I think what we want to do now, just to dress things up a little bit further, I think we want to put a few rocks in here. So let's see, which are the rocks that I like? Not scenery, we want nature region. I really like the deciduous and the tropical rocks. I think those ones generally look the best. So we'll go to nature and rocks. And we're just going to add a couple rocks in here. Now, how did rocks get in here? I don't know, but they're in here. That's kind of too small. A little too small. Okay, so we'll set a rock here. Why is that one lifting so far off the ground? Okay, so we'll do that. And then let's get another rock. That's too big, too big. Kind of want to get one more rock over in here to vary the color up a little bit. Let's go ahead and include the alpine rocks because they got some okay color that could match. Okay, so we'll just do that. And let's see. Over here, we can throw in some rocks. I think it'll look good. Get this little alpine rock in here. Get another small one. And let's see. And then a large tropical rock. You can kind of interact with the back of the scenery there. And then right here where we think it caved in, right? Where we think it caved in, that's a good place to put more rocks. That'll help sell this effect that like the tunnel collapsed and all the rocks fell in. So we want to put more rocks over here than in the other areas. Okay, and we want to get a nice variety of color. A little bit of a variety of color, too small. And let's see. Okay, I really need to start leading with the tropical rocks because they're so freaking huge. Okay, so we'll put that one there. Now they are upside down when they go through there, so that might be too big. But we're gonna keep it for right now. Okay. And we need to get a few more. Let's see. Go for another tropical rock, and I want to use control and push it into the wall. Now I feel like we need to have some sort of rock in here. Is that floating? It's floating. So now we'll move it onto the ground a little bit and actually give it some rotation. There, now it fills that gap up a little bit better. And if we take another smaller rock, too small. Okay, and we just set that there, and then we get this large rock, and let's see. I think control. Okay, and I like the way that one works, so I'm going to set it over here also. And just another small rock. This is a small rock, so we'll get a couple little ones in here. And let's see, this one's a good size. So we'll kind of slide that in that way. And I feel like one more, like right around here. And now I feel like this one needs to be further back. It shouldn't just be hanging out like that. But you know what? Rocks do weird things when they get all stuck on each other. So we're gonna leave it. And let's see. Now this one. And then I'll do one more of these, but I'm gonna rotate it. Okay, so that actually now kind of makes it look like the ground caved in. And let's see, here they come. Okay, it's a little tight right there, so I'm going to move some of these down just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. Okay, and then I am tempted to kind of like add a couple up in here. Okay, and where's our super big tropical rocks? And let's get another big tropical rock. Here's a monster. Okay. And I don't really think we need a whole bunch of them over here, but I think I might add one anyways. Let's do control. Okay. So that might be a little tight in there, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'll let it be. And let's see. No. This one looked good. Okay, so we're gonna let that sit like that. And actually, let's change this to be block sectioned, and we can fit 2 cars on it. And let's for now set the maximum to 40, and let's set the minimum departure. How long is the ride? Let's go look at how long the ride is. It doesn't know. All right, let's speed it up and just see how long the ride is. It's probably about I don't know, 60 seconds. Could be 90. 65 seconds. Okay, so let's set the minimum departure time at 30, and we'll take the minimum off of here. And the reason I want 2 cars going is because as we build the scenery in here, I want to see the cars, how close they are to the scenery. And having 2 cars going at once is just going to make the cars come by a little bit more often, so make that a little bit easier. And let's see, I think we kind of need to bring this down. And I think we need to bring this down. I think they're a little tall. And let's go ahead and select a few more of these rocks in here. And I'm going to bring them all down just slightly. Go ahead and bring this down a little bit more. A little bit more. And we'll just move this one over this way. Okay. And that's just going to create a little bit more clearance as they come through here on this tunnel. Which, if you go down here, very dark. Ooh, spooky. Very spooky. All right. Okay, let's see. What else do we want to do in here? I got to get my camera working normal again. Now, I think I want to go ahead and add some ivy to the walls and maybe a few bushes on the ground. So let's go ahead and make sure that we got the major building selected. We do. And that bush, again, was got the caps lock on somehow. Scaevola, I think is what it was. And let's go ahead and reset the filters. Of course, we're in the wrong tab, right? And we'll go ahead and do all the scenery. Okay, so here it is. So now that we've got these nice little rocks in here, let's go ahead and just dress this place up with a little bit of bushes. Okay. I'm just going to set them all down, and then I'll go back and adjust them a little bit. Like we did with the skulls earlier. I think that'll just end up being easier in the long run. So we'll set some over here. And we can use these to cover up some of the unpleasant looking overlap of the multiple buildings that we use to create this effect on the floor. Just like we did over in the Lost Gardens attraction. And now, we'll put a couple up in here. And we don't want to cover up the walls entirely, but maybe just a little bit. Okay. Yeah, see, I think that looks That looks pretty good. And let's see. And I'm just moving it over the surface of the rock here to see if there's an interesting place where it creates a nice growth effect. Because the rocks themselves have lots of different contours on them and different angles. So they are a good thing to actually, like if you want to get a weird angle for something, just move it around on a rock and then hit V to lock it in place, and then you can move it over and create it, get it tilted right there. Just by doing that. And let's see, let's get some kind of up over here. Okay, I feel like we're on the verge of overdoing it, so we're gonna back off with this scenery piece, and I'm just gonna go through and tilt a couple of these and sink them in. Okay, yeah, see, that looks good. I like that. Tilt this one into the back here. And rotate this one that way. Get the world axes this way. And then relative and sink it back in here. And let's just see what we get. Yeah, I like that. And do the same thing over here. So we'll sink this in. Then we'll tilt it. Okay, so it looks like it's kind of grown up the steps there, and adding these little details on the steps helps to detract that they're not the same material as the surrounding sandstone, because these are just plain concrete. These are concrete columns, and they look okay in here, but then when you dress them up with these extra details, then it hides the fact that they're not sandstone, because your eye is drawn to the skull and the bushes and those things more than it is the smooth concrete. So let's see, over here, well, these ones are mostly pretty good. I think I'm just going to duplicate this one, and let's see. Now, why are these bushes growing in here when there's no sunlight? I don't know. Again, not a botanist. I don't have an explanation for it. Maybe when the park closes down, they turn on the UV lights and all the plants get a nighttime of UV. Okay, so let's see what it looks like now. That looks pretty neat. And we're going to go ahead really quick. We're going to put some ivy and a few other bushes on here, and then we're going to call this episode done. I don't think we're going to have time to go over and play with the pyramid this episode, but we will get to it. And there's also... well, I don't want to put any flowered plants in here because there is no sun. It kind of works over here because this is an open top and the sun is going to, nurture these plants. But over here, I think I want to stick to more like the mossy looking green stuff. So we're not going to put any flowered plants in here. I think we're just going to go ahead and go with the ivy. Okay, and so we grab a couple of these. Okay, and just fill them in here. Let's see, is it shift? Okay, now this one's a little tricky. Whoops, misfired. Okay. So on these ones, on these outside pillars, I gotta aim for the little carvings, this flat edge right there. Oh, and then I'm noticing that I forgot to go over and decorate or tilt these guys. Go ahead and do this one too. Move it over, rotate it, move it out, tilt it back. fix the fact that it's floating. Okay, there we go. And we'll go back to the ivy. And I am leaving little gaps. I'm not doing everything with the ivy. And we want to get quite a bit of it up here. Now, in these ones, I'm going to put them along this building, and then I'll do an advanced move to move them out over the other ones here. Because if I were to place them flat on here, then they would disappear behind the other building, because these ones are moved further towards the lagoon. If that makes sense. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, see, if I put it on this building, then it sinks into the wall, but if I put it here, then it fits over it nicely. Okay, so let's see. And, you know, varying the height a little bit as I place them. Okay. And I'll just do some over. Oh, I already got that area. Okay, so now I'll just come through here. And cover the walls much the same way we did in the Lost Gardens. Okay, I'll put a couple on the rocks there. And I think this is looking very nice, much better than it was for most of the series. It's nice to come back in here and do some work on this and get this thing looking like a finished ride. And again, if you remember something I said a long time ago, if you've been watching the series, and if you haven't, then you get to hear it now. I did get stuck on ideas for this ride for a little while. You know, I kind of put some of the stuff down and then got stuck, and then so I went over and I started working over here. And taking the break from this and working on this area allowed us to get some new inspiration and create some elements over here, especially in here, which are now being transported back over into this area. So it was worthwhile to take that break and kind of let this area evolve a little bit. And then now we get to reuse some of the stuff over in here. And that also, because we're reusing architectural concepts, it helps to keep the theme of the area consistent. So and let's see, I want to get some of this more like hanging ivy, but where's okay, this one is actually going to be better just kind of like right in here like this, right up underneath the stones. And maybe if I could get it, let's see. Nah, I'm not going to bother with that. I was thinking it'd be cool to have it hanging down like here a little bit. Well, we could maybe do this. Let's see. Sink it in just a little bit. All right. Where's our hanging ivy at? Right here. Not going to go completely overboard. I feel like I've already gone a little overboard. Now I'm just going to take a couple of these and use it to fill in some of the spaces that I created. See? And just use it to fill in little areas where I left it disconnected. Okay. And that way we don't have to have everything top to bottom covered in ivy. but it also does look like the ivy is growing the way ivy actually does on buildings that are covered in it. All right. I think that is looking pretty good. And except for maybe adding some lighting in here after we put the roof on, I don't know how dark it's going to be inside, then this area right here, and we might go work on the land out here, but inside this building, this is pretty much done. I want to build a little doorway to, you know, connect to this outside patio, for lack of a better term. But everything in here is pretty much done. Oh, and I see that these things are poking out right here, but I don't know if that matters, actually, to be honest. Let's go ahead and just take these two and duplicate them. All right, there. So for now, we're just going to leave it that those things are doing that, poking out, and I want to get rid of that one because it's too close to the track. Oops, there we go. All right. That's going to be it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and tune in for the next one, and we'll start working on a little Aztec temple, or weenie, as I guess it's called. Have a good afternoon.